So the day has finally arrived. Aaron Rodgers has been traded by the Packers to the New York Jets. It's about a month after it was supposed to happen, but it finally did happen today. After 18 years, 2005, Aaron Rodgers was drafted by the Packers. 18 years later, he is headed to New York, just like Brett Favre did for that one season back in 2008. It's certainly surreal. I've never had to root for another quarterback in my entire life. I mean, I say like Brett Favre made me a Packers fan, but was I watching games when I was 3, 4, 5 years old? No. I honestly still don't fully understand why I'm a Packers fan to begin with. But with that aside, Rodgers is the guy I've watched my whole life. He's the greatest Packer in franchise history. He's won the only Super Bowl the Packers have in the 21st century, 4-time MVP. He's going to be first ballot Hall of Famer. I've been a fan long enough that I've outgrown a jersey, had to buy a new Aaron Rodgers jersey twice, so that's how long it's been going. He's an awesome player. I hate to see that he has to go play somewhere else to finish his career, but it just kind of happened this way. When the Packers signed him to that big, huge extension following the 2021 season, heading into last year, we trade Adams. Partly that was because Adams wanted to leave. I mean, we could have kept him, but when his money was off the books, we gave Rodgers a huge contract, and it looked like Rodgers was here to stay for, 2, 3, 4 more years. That's what I thought anyways. And last year, I wouldn't put it on Rodgers at all. It's bad coaching, a lot of injuries, bad defense. A lot of things went wrong, but Rodgers didn't play like the MVP he was the 2 previous seasons, and with a team like the Packers, who clearly weren't going to be Super Bowl contenders anytime soon, this trade had to happen. The cap hit was just too severe, so we had to cut some of that off. And it was simply time to move in the rebuilding direction. They draft Jordan Love following the 2019 season. In the 2020 draft, they draft Jordan Love. It was because Rodgers back then, he was still playing really well, but it did look like he was declining. But following that Love pick, he had 2 MVP seasons, 2 great seasons. One year that especially I thought the Packers should have made the Super Bowl was that 2020 season. Lose to Tampa in that heartbreaking game. I'm still not over that loss, but I don't know. It is going to be surreal to see someone else under center for Green Bay for reasons that aren't an injury or resting in the last week of the regular season. But I'm excited for Love. He looked pretty good in the Eagles game. Don't think he'll ever reach the heights Favre and Rodgers did, but that's okay. I think we've seen in this league, especially in the last few years, that maybe when it comes to winning a Super Bowl, maybe you need someone like Mahomes in most cases, but I think there's been a lot of good teams that take a solid enough quarterback, a good quarterback, and you build around them with receivers, you build around them with a good defense. I think Jordan Love can develop into, an upper echelon quarterback. Is he going to be an MVP? Probably not, but I think he's going to be good enough that in 2 years from now, the Packers will be right back in there. If they build the team the right way, they use these draft picks the right way over the next few years, that will be right back in the race for the NFC North. The actual trade, I thought it was awesome. Everyone said the Packers lost their leverage. Everyone said Packers aren't going to get the picks they desire, but the trade winds up being awesome. Packers get to move up 2 spots in the draft from 15 to 13. They bring in a second rounder, so now they have 2 day 2 picks, or 2 second round picks rather, along with a third, so 3 day 2 picks, excuse me. And then next year, if Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps, we get a first-round pick. And even if he doesn't, it's still a second. So I thought the Packers brought in tremendous assets in this trade. Brian Gutekunst doesn't get enough credit. I think he's done a very solid job as the Packers GM over these last 4 or 5 years. He gets a lot of flack because he's not the best GM in the league. I don't know. I think he's made a ton of good moves, both in free agency and the draft. I'm confident that he's going to lead this rebuild in the right direction. If you can't even call it a rebuild, I do think this Packers team won't bottom out. I think Love will be good enough that they win, about 6-7 games next year. So I think it's more of a retooling, like a 2-year retooling period. They're never going to be bottom of the league, I don't think. Maybe famous last words, but I truly believe that. I truly think we have enough veterans and some good picks coming our way that this team's in the right direction. I still believe in Matt LaFleur. He had a down year, I would say, for his standards, but I still believe in him to lead this team. Joe Barry as defensive coordinator, maybe not. Maybe that's a change that comes within the next year. But for now, I don't know. I can't thank Aaron Rodgers enough for all the memories I've had watching him just growing up, getting to getting to live a lot of great Packers teams that even though there's been a lot of playoff collapses, there's also been a lot of fun seasons, a lot of great memories, some cool Hail Marys along the way, some MVPs. So, I don't know. I wish I'm definitely, it's definitely going to be different. Definitely a little upset about it. But at the same time, just the way it went, and I don't want to relitigate all the drama over the past couple years. I would definitely say that I've defended Rodgers on some of it, but at a certain point, I don't think the reason we're trading Rodgers is because of his off-field stuff. I think I've always defended him as a teammate. I think his teammates, for the most part, unless you're Greg Jennings, love him. I think when it's time to play football, he locks in. Even last year when he did have a down year, I think he was locked in. I think he cared. He does do some weird stuff off the field. He does say some weird stuff off the field. No. I'm not on my darkness retreat anymore. That's why the lights are on in this video. But I don't know. I think Rodgers goes to the Jets. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I think they have the tools to do that. Don't think they can win a Super Bowl in that AFC, though. Even in their division, they got two great teams in Miami and Buffalo plus Bill Belichick. You never know what he's cooking up. That AFC is brutal, but hey, the Jets have been desperate for good quarterback play for a very long time. So I think they had to do this trade. Don't think the Jets should have, waited for the next guy to come along. I think this was the right move for the team. I think it was the right move for both sides. Sucks that Rodgers won't retire as a Packer, but you just look across NFL history. Tom Brady didn't even retire as a Patriot. Joe Montana didn't retire as a 49er. Peyton Manning didn't retire a Colt. It just happens sometimes. Brett Favre didn't retire a Packer. So it stinks to see, but it's probably the best for both sides, and who knows? Maybe Rodgers somehow defies the odds. Maybe he proves me wrong, does get one more Super Bowl ring out of this. So, I wish him the best. And as for me, as a Packers fan, I'm very excited where the future lies. I'm excited for the Jordan Love era. So that's what I got to say about this trade. I think Gutekunst nailed it. I'm excited for the 2023 season.